Hello, Black and White Army. Today, Newcastle United are making headlines everywhere, and I'm starting with a big one. A striker valued at £60 million, personal terms agreed, but still no deal between clubs. Yes, the big bombshell is Jürgen Strand-Larsen, and there's even a manager speaking out about it. But hold on, I'll give you every single detail of this story, what the Wolves manager actually said, and what it means for our Newcastle. First though, quick intro. I'm Rodrigo, and this is Newcastle Mania, the channel made by a fan, for fans, who live and breathe Newcastle United. And like I always say, you blink, and Newcastle are back in the headlines everywhere. And today, the biggest story comes right at the end. But before that, we're breaking it all down. How we got here, the failed moves earlier this summer, and why this deal could be the most important of the entire season. But first, just a quick word. Remember those Chelsea fans who said this channel wouldn't grow because our fan base is too small? Well, they're already going quiet because our community is growing every single day. So let's shut them up completely. If you love Newcastle and want to prove the Black and White Army is massive, hit that subscribe button right now. It costs nothing, but it makes all the difference. Let's smash 1,000 subscribers together and show the world what this fan base is all about. Right, let's get into it. Because this one is hot. Jürgen Strand-Larsen, Wolves striker, has reportedly agreed personal terms with Newcastle, but there's no deal between the clubs. In other words, the player wants to come, but Wolves are standing firm. They want £60 million. And in the middle of all this, their manager, Vitor Pereira, has just spoken out. So, what did Pereira actually say at his press conference? He didn't stand there and insist Larsen is untouchable, but he didn't confirm a transfer either. It was a very careful, calculated answer. He started by saying the striker is a vital part of his squad. Strand-Larsen is a very important player for us. He trains well, he's committed, and tomorrow he's in the team to play. Up to that point, it all sounded pretty standard. Confidence, faith in his player. But then came the twist. Pereira added, "The market is the market, and as long as the window is open, players can come in and players can go out." That line changes everything. Because, in reality, that's a kind of statement that's like holding up a sign saying, "We're open to talks if the price is right." Translated into plain words, Wolves won't keep him at all costs. They know they've got a valuable asset, but if someone meets their asking price, a fortune, they'll sell. And that's exactly the sort of mixed message that makes fans nervous. On one hand, Pereira is saying he trusts the lad, he's picking him to play, he's showing confidence. But on the other, he's leaving the door wide open by admitting the market can change in a flash. It's almost like putting up a shop window, for sale, but only if you pay the full price. For us fans, the meaning is simple. Wolves want cash. They know Larsen has value, and they won't say no if Newcastle or anyone else opens a checkbook. Now, let's talk about the reaction. The press is already buzzing. Loads of English outlets, including the Express and Star, have confirmed intermediaries have been in talks and that personal terms are already agreed. Which means, if Newcastle decide to pay up, this could move fast, days, not weeks. And more than that, journalists are saying the pressure on the club to bring in a striker is massive. This would not only strengthen the squad, but also send a message to Eddie Howe's rivals. Newcastle aren't asleep in this transfer market. We're alive, active, and ready to compete at the very top. On social media, it's absolutely blowing up. On X, Instagram, fan groups everywhere. The debate is fierce. Loads of supporters are buzzing at the thought of finally landing a proper number 9, physical presence, Premier League experience, someone to ease the burden on Wilson and Isaac. But others are slamming the idea. £60 million is insane for a player who hasn't yet proved his elite. They point to past transfers that cost big money but didn't deliver, warning that this could be another gamble that backfires. And the mood in St. James Park? Completely split. Some fans are dreaming of a more dangerous, clinical Newcastle attack. Others are more cautious, worried about the club's finances, about falling foul of FFP, about overspending. Even influencers and fan accounts are weighing in with stats, breakdowns, and their own hot takes. It's become one of the biggest talking points of the summer. And here's the question every fan is asking. Should Newcastle really take the plunge? Is £60 million worth it for a striker who might be the difference maker, or is it a financial risk too far? So I want to hear from you. Would you pay that much for Strand Layson, or should we keep our money in the bank and look elsewhere? Let me know in the comments, because this is a debate that's about to set the black and white army on fire. And that's all for today's video. If you enjoyed it, smash the like button, hit subscribe, and share this with your black and white mates. Every sub makes this community stronger, and together we're proving the world wrong about our fan base. I'm Rodrigo. This is Newcastle Mania. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time with more hot news about our beloved Newcastle United. Now, let's take a step back and see how we got here. Newcastle has spent the whole summer chasing a replacement for Callum Wilson. They went for Joao Pedro, Ekitike, Sesko, even Liam Delap, and they all slipped away. We had our eyes on Yoane Wissa, but Brentford rejected a £40 million offer and are asking for £50 to £60 million. So, we're stuck in a corner. Either the club pays big, or the transfer window closes with no new striker. And that's where the name Strand Layson comes into play as an alternative. Talking about the player, Strand Layson is a powerful striker, tall, fights for every ball, has presence in the box, but he can also drop out wide and hold up play. He'd be exactly the type of centre-forward Howe loves to develop. The problem? He isn't forcing a move, he's training and playing, which gives Wolves even more bargaining power. And on the other side, we have Eddie Howe. The manager has been clear, he won't sign someone just for the sake of it. He wants a player who fits the system and has a future at the club. And let's be honest, Howe loves working with players like that, strong, young, but still developing. This kind of transfer saga isn't new. Manchester United paid big for Jlund after several failed attempts, and Arsenal has also been forced to overspend on forwards. The difference for Newcastle is the shadow of financial fair play. The club can't just open the checkbook without thinking. And here's where it gets risky, Magpies fans. If Newcastle don't sign anyone for the attack, the situation could get messy. The team risks spending almost the entire season improvising Anthony Gordon as a centre-forward. He's quick, he plays wide, but is not a natural number 9. And in the end, that could cost crucial points in key games. Making things worse, Isaac's future is still uncertain. The striker has shown frustration, refused to train on a few occasions, and seems to be pushing for a move to Liverpool. Imagine losing your main goal scorer and still having to improvise Gordon up front. That would leave the squad extremely thin, with no strong options in the most important area, the attack. Now, if Newcastle decide to open the checkbook and pay £60 million for Layson, it could solve a big part of the problem. He'd arrive as an instant boost, a striker competing for the starting spot and bringing peace of mind to Eddie Howe. But here's the catch, the financial risk is huge. Is it worth spending that much on a player who isn't yet a guaranteed star? What if he doesn't adapt? What if he fails to meet expectations? So the club is at a crossroads, risk the whole season with improvisations and a limited squad, or risk financially to bring in Layson and hope it pays off. Which risk matters more to you, on the pitch or in the accounts? Fans, this is the moment the club needs to decide whether to take the next step or fall behind. Strand Layson may be expensive, but he could also be the name that saves a season. The transfer window closes in 10 days. It's now or never. And I want to hear from you. Should Newcastle pay £60 million and bring in Strand Layson, or is it better to hold on to the money and trust Isaac until the end? Comment down below, because I'll be replying to plenty of you. This was another video from Newcastle Mania. Don't forget to hit the like button, share it with that black and white hearted friend, and remember, every subscription here sends a message to the world that our support is massive. This is Rodrigo, straight from Newcastle Mania. Thanks for watching, and see you next time with more hot news from our Newcastle United.